into your online marketing and social strategies. My name is Kim Albee, and I'm the president of Genu. We're a marketing automation software company targeted into the small and mid-sized business space. Today we're going to be talking about, and from our perspective, what we've learned as we've learned to produce video, the successes we've had, and all of that. So to start, let's look at what we're going to cover. The agenda for today is going to roughly follow this format. The first thing we're going to talk about is why video. Why, what's all this buzz about video? Why should you really pay attention to video? We're going to talk a little bit about the equipment, what we started with, how we got going, a little bit about scripting your video and the different types of videos that there are, and we're going to give you some examples. Talk about shooting your video and the different kind of shots and what you have to consider. A little bit on editing your video. When I did the 3-hour workshop at the Online Marketing Summit this year, we went more in depth there. We won't do that for this webinar. Then a little bit about publishing your video, things to consider about really where you host your video and how to publish your video. Then we'll do a good bit about leveraging your video and different things you can think about there, and then we'll have time for questions. The one thing that I would say from a housekeeping perspective is if you have questions anywhere along the way, go ahead and type them into the questions pane that you've got in your GoToWebinar control panel. And if you can just type them in there, then we can queue them up to get answered as we hit the questions and answers portion. Also, if you need to, everybody's on mute. If you need to take another call or something like that, it's better if you exit the webinar and come back in than putting everything on hold. Okay, so without any further ado, let's just jump in and get going here. So why video? There are two reasons why video is important, and the first one is it improves your conversions from visitors to leads. So taking those anonymous visitors that are coming to your site and actually having them convert into someone that you know about is far more effective when you include video. The second reason is it can improve your search engine optimization. So if you're into getting naturally ranked in the search engines, video can vastly improve and help you really gain rankings for key phrases that you wouldn't maybe normally be able to easily get ranked for. And we'll talk about that as we talk about leveraging your video. Video improves conversion up to 100% over text and image-based landing pages. So where you have pictures and text, that's great, and those can be very engaging. But when you add video, you can improve your conversion up over 100%. People really want to connect with other people. You want to do it in a number of different ways, emotionally, knowledge-wise, etc. And the photo, just from a photo perspective, adding photos makes that emotional connection so much easier, and it drives people to the contact form. It's just, photos can be very, very effective. But when you think about video as a whole body experience. I read the book Blink by Malcolm Gladwell, and as human beings, we size people up in a minute, in a moment. We size them up. We know in the instant, whether we like them, we don't like them, if there's something suspect about them, the whole thing. Well, video gives you that sense. So it's a whole body experience. Both you get the visual, you get the auditory, you get the sensing, and you can have that kind of experience when you see things via video. I started to look at, as we started to explore all of this, I started to look at, well, if it improves conversion, how really does it help? So I started to look at, we launched a new website and video with an included video right on our homepage in July of this last year. And so I wanted to see, okay, well then let's look at the period leading up to that and then the period since then and say, what have we seen? And so one of the things that you can see is that from January 1st through June, we had 9,500 unique page views, but we had 1:39 average time on site, 1:39. When you look at July through January, 12,000 unique page views, but we had 3 minutes and 22-second average time on site, which is a 233% improvement in the time spent on the site. And in that period, we've also seen a 228% growth in new accounts since we added the video, and a 369% growth in the abandoned new account setup. So people who want a new account expressed that they wanted that but then didn't finish the account sign-up process. So we've been working on that area since January to really improve that, and we've started to see some major improvements there as well. So the other things that you can see is kind of the different levels, and this is what, depending on where you host, you can kind of see different statistics about how long people watch before they leave, and things like that. And so we're going to be talking about that as well. But why video? Well, it can make your site more sticky, as we've just shown you. We just, we improved time on site from 1 minute and 36 to 3 minutes and 22 seconds. It's more engaging for your visitors. And video can be a more effective proof element than just text-based testimonials and that kind of thing. A principal talking about their organization and what you're all about can be more effective, actually, than a testimonial video or a testimonial story or case study. So it can basically, what video does is it builds trust and it reduces that perceived risk that your visitors have about, can I trust them? Is this really the company that I want to do business with? Additionally, video can help improve your SEO. So Google is now placing more value on longer stays at your site. So the longer a visitor engages with your site rather than comes in and leaves, the more emphasis or strength you'll have from an SEO perspective. They also place video thumbnails in the upper zone of their search engine result pages. And because they place those video thumbnails in the upper zone, if you can get ranked, your video ranked, say out on YouTube, for instance, you'll have a very high likelihood of also having your video show up on that first page of search engine results for that particular key phrase that you get ranked for, say over in YouTube. And a January 2010 study says that product pages with video are 53 times more likely to achieve a page 1 listing on Google. So that's compelling in and of itself. And an AimClear study from March of 2011 shows that videos in search results have a 41% higher click-through rate than plain text results. So the net of all of it is people just click on video results. More people click on them. So from an SEO perspective, if you want to get that traffic, then start paying attention to video and getting your videos ranked. So let's dive in and talk about how we got going on our story with video and all of that. When we started, we spent a total of about $375 to start out with. That's it. Total out-of-pocket expense. And here's what we bought. We bought a Kodak ZI-8 camera, a remote control for that camera, a tripod, and we bought a camera tripod. I'm going to talk to you in a minute about the difference between a video tripod and a camera tripod, because we didn't know there was a difference when we started. We bought a larger SD card for the camera, so we went up to a 16 gigabyte card. It can hold more video, has greater capacity. We bought Camtasia Studio for the Mac. For the Mac, it's only $99. It's more for the PC. But we bought that so that we could edit, mostly because we wanted to be able to do demos, like online demos and tutorials and things like that for our software. And then we found out that, hey, we can actually edit video, live, video, and get that all put together as well. So that's what we use. And then we also use Audacity, which is an audio program, and that's free. So let's take a look at cameras and equipment, because the ZI-8 is no longer out there. I think there's a ZI-10 or a ZI-12 that's out there. But Kodak has some cameras. Sony has some cameras. Apple. The thing that has amazed me as we keep moving forward here is that an iPhone 4 and probably any Android phone as well that can take video is increasingly becoming, can take really high-end video as well, and can increasingly provide you with video options that you can then, for shooting and editing, and we'll get into that a little bit. But basically what I looked at is price, whether or not external mic can be used with the camera. Having the ability to have an external mic is important, and we'll show you the difference. Is it does it have a USB device? Great. Is it high def? Does it take high-def pictures? Most of them do now. And then do they have a remote? Does it have a remote control or not? And specifically, if you're going to be doing things like video blogging or something like that where you want to set that up on a tripod and have it point at you and you don't have a second person to easily start that video, you want to be able to have a remote control to turn it on and turn it off so that you can start and stop that recording really, really easily and then have less overall editing you'll have to do after the fact. So that's the other component there. But this just gives you an idea of some things that are out there. Tripods. Let's talk about this, because a tripod, video tripods are really different than camera tripods. So I've got a picture here of a video tripod, and this is the one that we actually ended up buying. It's a Manfrotto mid-level tripod, and the difference is the head. It has a swivel head, so it's on a ball bearing, so that you have really smooth movement as you move your tripod head around. Whereas a camera tripod, you lock it down, and if you try and move it, it's like it just doesn't give you that smooth flow. So if you're going to be shooting video and then moving, you know, having the video follow the speaker who might be moving, you're going to want to have a video tripod, and there is a big difference between them. And there's a big difference in price too, but you can get a good entry-level video tripod for right in the 200s there. I think we paid the mid-2s for ours, and I think you can get the same thing we bought for probably less, but that's exactly what we bought, was this Manfrotto kind of mid-level system. Now, here's the interesting part. Now, iPad and iPhone, iPads are one of the fastest selling devices. You know, people are, you know, using them for all sorts of things. Well, and then the iPhone. Well, what's interesting and what's fun here is that you can get tripod mounts for your iPad, because an iPad has a video camera attached to it, right? Well, it has that video camera on and you can put that on a tripod. You can also get teleprompter, a teleprompter service for your iPad. So if you're using FaceTime and flip the camera around, you could have a teleprompter look right into the camera and basically, you know, give a little bit of a talk there. So there's a lot of things that are happening here, and they're not that expensive. So if you think about it, the other thing that we've had a lot of fun with, and I don't know if we'll have time to show you any of the output from what we've gotten from this or not, is this Steadicam Smoothie for the iPhone 4. And it's the Steadicam folks, and Steadicams are usually thousands and thousands of dollars. So they put their technology into a handheld little unit that uses their ball bearing system and all of that, so that as you are as you're walking or moving, it takes all the jitter out of if you were just holding your iPhone in your hand and trying to take a video while you're walking around, and you get all the jiggle from that. You don't have that with the Steadicam Smoothie, and so you put your iPhone on that, and you can literally take camera, and as you walk, it just keeps it very smooth. So we have some fun stuff. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show it to you today or not, but again, $179. And you've got this, you know, this capability with your iPhone. So unfortunately, we bought the flip attachment for it too, but it doesn't fit any flip that we own. So I'm not sure what flip they designed it for. But you have to, you know, have a specific. You can't just put any camera on this thing. So it's just, you know, right now that, as far as I see, for an iPhone. Let's talk about mics. Mics make a huge difference. A huge difference. A wired lavalier mic will have better quality than a wireless, and wireless is a lot more expensive, but there are times when you want a wireless mic. If the person's going to be moving around or across the room and you don't want to see the wire or the tail, you're going to want that wireless mic. But renting a mic might be the best bet for your project if you need wireless. And if you go with wireless, go with UHF over VHF. Now here's the difference, and I had to learn this, but the difference is that the less expensive VHF systems is in the way the various radio signals travel. So VHF signals tend to travel in a straight line, and when they encounter obstacles like chairs and tables and even people, they bounce or reflect off of those objects, and the result can be a noise like a hissing sound or a dropout of your video. The dropout's caused by the original signal and the reflected signal in effect canceling each other out just for an instant. Now, either of these factors can adversely affect your soundtrack when you're actually shooting your video. So on the other hand, a UHF signal tends to travel either through and around those same objects, so there's no reflections, and noise and dropouts are virtually eliminated. So that's the biggest advantage that UHF has over VHF. If you add this to the fact that most UHF systems come with 188 or more field adjustable channels, etc., the potential for interference is virtually eliminated with a UHF system. Now, what I want to do really quickly, well, we'll go into the next one, the microphones. Here's an idea of wireless microphone prices. And you can get, oh, this got all scrambled down here. You can get a wireless mic system. This is a VHS system for fairly cheap. And if you look at the UHF systems, they're a lot more. Pay the money for the more if you're going to buy, because it's a huge difference. And so you want to have a wireless system, but you also want to have one that's portable. And portable, this one is inexpensive, but it's not portable. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what I mean by portable. So portable means that that receiver, that transmitter and receiver, they're both battery powered and they can just hook right onto your camera or easily be used in a portable way, versus something that has a desktop, more of it needs to sit on a table-based unit as a receiver. So that wouldn't be portable. So you want to make sure that you understand the difference between those two things. Now really quickly, I'm going to pop out here and I'm going to show you the difference between no mic and a mic with a video. So I'm going to we're going to play okay, so if you saw that, that's with the mic. Oh, you guys couldn't hear it. Okay, I'm sorry, you guys can't hear that. So so I'm not going to be able to show you that piece, and likely you're not going to hear any of the other videos that I could show you either. But there's a big difference between a mic without video, having a video shot without a mic, and having a video shot with a mic, and it's night and day difference in terms of clarity of voice with no kind of sound that makes it sound like you're far away from the camera, which in many cases you might be. Okay, if you look at wired mics, the prices are a lot less. So again, you get really good quality with a wired mic. So if you can use a wired mic, you might want to do that. Again, it just depends, but a mic in one way or another is an important option. Okay, lighting. There are tons of options for lighting, and you want to opt for natural light if possible. So shoot in the brightest part of the room. You could turn on all the lamps and open the blinds and doors. Or you want to make sure you don't put a subject in front of windows or lamps, because you're not going to be able to see them. And I'll show you that in just a second. But you're going to want to you want the light source to always be behind or to the side of the camera. Okay, so here's an example of if I was shooting, notice how all the people are just silhouetted, because the big light source is in front of me. So it's behind all the people that I'm shooting. So you want to make sure that you have it the opposite way around, so that you have really good backlighting and that you use that natural light, if you've got it, to your best advantage. So let's talk a little bit about editing software. We use Camtasia Studio, we use Macs, so it's a lot less expensive on a Mac. You can also use Final Cut Express or Adobe Premiere or Sony Vegas Pro. Those are all options that run that have Mac options or PC or Mac options, so we've tried to lay it out. And I'm sure there are more than this out there that you could use for editing. We use Camtasia Studio. It works just fine. If you go to our homepage at www.gnu.com and watch the video right there on the homepage, you will see that that was all done with Camtasia Studio. So and we did use a wireless mic as well on that, so that you can understand that. So now let's talk about types of marketing videos that you could create. Okay, so there's the introduction video, and that's really the talking head. That's like somebody talking about who they are, and our homepage video at www.gnu.com does that. That's basically what it is. We had fun with it and that sort of thing. And we'll get to some of these. We have a test drive, a product demo video. You know, take it on a test drive. You know, show how it works. All of those sorts of things. It's an on-screen sort of a video that you do screen capture for, and Camtasia Studio allows for that. There's also another product for the Mac called ScreenFlow that does the same thing. You can do customer testimonial videos, so them talking about what it's like to work with you. And what it is you did for them, and you could even do that in an interview style where you're interviewing them, or they could just be sharing their experience in a video. You can do educational videos. So one of the things that we did, I like to read. I read a ton. And so when I find a really good marketing book that I just love, I contact that author ask them if I can interview them. And we do an interview over Skype, so we just record the audio, and then we have taken that and we then bring in a whole presentation around that and put that all in a video so that they get the full featured, so that we have a whole kind of presentation built around that particular interview. And so we have some of those. I can show you a couple, or show you one. At least you won't hear the audio, but you'll kind of see it. And then presentation videos. You can do a whole presentation, not too dissimilar from what I'm doing right now, and we're recording this webinar, but really all you're seeing is the PowerPoint presentation. Well, you can create a PowerPoint and you can add audio to each slide of the PowerPoint, and you can then virtually record the whole thing so that it all then just records out and can be saved as an MP4 and a movie. So you can do that with PowerPoint. I believe has the full capability in there. Now, I'm just going to show you a couple of examples of these, and we won't watch the whole thing, but you'll get the idea of it. There's this one site. We don't have anything to do with this site, by the way, but I liked this video, and it's just it's to do. This is a fancy way to say to-do list, right? So if you watch their video right off their homepage, they kind of bring you in, and they host this out at Vimeo, but they bring you in, and you're not going to be able to hear any of this, but he has an interesting way of illustrating what you've got. He talks about your layout and how it stretches. So he's kind of building up to-do lists as a really cool thing to engage with. But basically what he's going to show you out through this whole video is how this works and how you can add items and drag and drop and do things. But he's showing you a demo, and that's pretty much that product demo. If we go back and look at an introduction video, you can see this is our homepage video, and we're not going to watch it for very long, but basically you can see this whole thing, and I ride in on my scooter, and then I take my helmet off and start talking about who we are and what the challenge is for small and mid-sized businesses. So that's one, and then we also then go inside, and then you'll see me walk into the office and continue that video. And then we also then include the whole presentation, so taking the PowerPoint slides so we can do sort of a little animated bit in there. That's also included here. So this combines a lot of different options that you can do. Let's look at one of our customers has had really big success with testimonial videos, and so we can show you that. And basically they interview, and you can see the intro. So the intro itself has music, and it bounces you in, and then it basically introduces it, and you see the principal here interviewing her client. So the interesting thing here is you see all the cutaways while he's talking. So his voice is going on the whole time, but it has cutaways to different views and different aspects that are going to be interesting, and they'll show the lobby of their offices and all that kind of thing as well. And what she's doing is she's interviewing him about things that are concerns and will illustrate a difference for the people that are going to hire these guys to build out their BI solutions and that sort of thing. So that's what this is, and it's a customer testimonial video. They've had huge success with those. Now, educational video, again, I know you guys can't hear the audio, so we'll make this quick, but here's just what we do very simply on our educational videos. This was a video that I did with Instant Appeal, the 8 primal factors to blockbuster success that Vicki Kunkel wrote. I contacted her and we did an audio interview. And so what we do is we bring you in here. We start out with some music. I start out, it introduces me, and then it talks about Vicki Kunkel. So we have the music going on and the introduction. And then my voice comes in as the introduction. Then I introduce Vicki Kunkel. and there's her book. So all of this was stuff that we did with Camtasia Studio. And then we went into the whole process with that, with more diagrams and a whole thing. We kind of illustrated this whole interview so that you could see that. But that's an educational video. And then thought leadership video would be like a presentation. You can give a presentation to a live audience. So really quickly you can see there's one that I gave at DemandCon last year. And this is actually done and hosted through a company called Visible Gains. And one of the things that's interesting here is that you have different segments of what it is you're going to, what you're going to say. So I'm just introducing it, and then you get different choices. And so you can choose a segment, and all of these kind of give you a point about what you want to watch. And so you could click in to watch just a specific part of it. Now, admittedly, the lighting sucks on this video, but they did both. They filmed it. Visible Gains filmed it, so they went between my presentation and video of me, so that you can get a sense. So this is a whole thing on lead nurturing and how to really think about it well, but that's me doing that presentation. And yeah, the lighting sucks, but you get the idea. Again, that's a whole nother option that you have from a video standpoint. So that's just a simple way to think about the different options of videos that you have. Now, if you think about just the intro video, so the talking head, so somebody just talking about your company, get your point across, what is that? And so a script template is just be really simple and clear, get your point across, provide a brief introduction of you and your service to potential customers, and keep it to 2 minutes or less. You don't want to go longer. Now, I will admittedly say that the homepage video that we have on our Janu.com site goes 4 minutes, and we are working to get it shorter down to the 2-minute mark. For sure. We haven't done it yet, so it's about 4 minutes, but we also noticed that 60% of viewers are still watching it all the way to the end. So we're looking at where we can do some more of our calls to action maybe earlier on and things like that, and doing an edit there of that. But you want to keep your videos to 2-3 minutes at the most. Give a reason why your service is the one they should select, your service or product, and include a distinct call to action. So you want to have about 140 to 150 typed words that will equal a minute's worth of speaking. So if you're going to type out your script, just know that 140 to 150 typed words equals about a minute's worth of speaking. And for a basic talking head video, which will be the most effective and easiest to accomplish for most of you that are just starting out, just be brief and focused. Tell them the essentials. Now, the call to action is important. Whether that's email me by clicking on the button below or download the free report by clicking on the button below, be specific and ask your potential customers to take the next step in doing business with you. So what does that look like as a template? Well, here's a fill-in-the-blank template that you can kind of work with. Hello, I'm Kim Albee. My product or service is marketing automation for small and mid-sized businesses. If you have a problem following up with all the leads that you get, or you aren't effective at getting leads on your website, you might want to use our service, something like that. And it can benefit you in these ways, So anyways, take IT out of the equation, blah, 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 and I could go on. But I'm better than my competition for this reason. So you want to make sure you include all these kind of points. You don't have to say it all in this format, but it helps you focus what it is you're going to say and what it is you need to cover so that you can, basically get that done. So that's a good fill-in-the-blank template. Now let's talk a little bit about shooting your video. There are a variety of different shots, wide-range shot, mid-range shot, close-up shots, and cutaway shots. So you want to know what you're going to say, and for a talking head video, you have got to look directly into that camera lens and say what you have to say, just like you're talking to your best friend. That camera lens has to be like you're talking right into the eyes of your best friend. If you look away, or you have things, like kind of some prompters kind of off to the side or what have you, we'll see your eyes move. We'll see you reading it. The person in the video will actually see your eyes like you're reading something, and you'll know that they're not even looking at you in the video. So don't make that mistake. You got to look directly into that lens of the camera when you're talking. Now there's an iPrompt Pro is the name of the iPad app that has the video prompter. So you could put that on a tripod, set it up so that it's shooting you right, that shot of you, and then you could actually probably use that and it would look like you're looking right at the camera. I don't know. You're going to have to play with that. We haven't tried it out yet. But you can easily create a promotional video in which viewers only see you talking, but an even better video includes what is called cutaway shots. So those are the brief shots that illustrate what you're talking about in presentation. So if you're a web designer, you might include cutaway shots of samples of your work or you working at your computer, something like that. After you complete your script, look for places where you can incorporate, if possible, the cutaway shots. Make a list of what those shots could be, and you can record that or take those shots after you record your presentation and then just later edit them into your video. So that's what you've got for shots. So what you need to know about wide range shots, and the biggest mistake that amateur videographers make is that when we look at a scene, we, in our eyes, and the two human eyes that we've got, we can look at that scene and see it very widely. We see the wide angle of it. But what we forget is that we have huge powers of focus as human beings, and we focus right in on what is the thing to pay attention to in that scene. Well, in video, you take that wide shot, except for you don't know what to focus in on, right? So in video, it's really important that you spell it out, and that's the mid-range and close-up shots. This is what's important in this frame. This is what you need to pay attention to. So you don't want those big, broad, wide shots to be all you've got, because you won't be focusing and guiding and telling the story to your viewers. So you want to keep that very much in mind as you're designing how you're going to do your shoot. Now, shooting your video, there are times when you can do multiple cameras. So very recently, in the last year, I came up with an idea for a nonprofit that I'm on the board of actually putting together a self-study program all done with video. If it was a live course that was being given, we could videotape it with the students in it, and then we could offer it out as a DVD program or an online-based program. And so me and all my infinite wisdom had never done this before, and I thought, well, certainly we can figure this out. And sure enough, we did. We had two cameras. So we had one camera that roved and watched the participants, and we had one camera that was just shot right on the teacher of the program. And then we had mics for everybody so that we knew that the audio was going to be okay. Well, and then all of the audio came into one audio source that was connected to the main camera. So in order to make sure that later on we could sync up the views of all the people in the course whenever one of them was speaking with the audio, which we were going to pull from the main camera, which was focused on the teacher, you had to use what we call a clap. And that's the picture that's here. And it's basically, you can either clap really loudly, but basically what it does is it makes a sound that in both streams of video, on the audio portion, it's going to have a line that goes straight across because it's going to take up the whole spectrum. And then you take your two video feeds and you just line that up. And now you've got it completely synchronized, voices and everything. So that's another thing to keep in mind. It's not very hard to do at all. I was amazed at really how simple that is. Okay, so that's all I've got on the shooting your video for this webinar, but now let's talk a little bit about editing your video and some of the things to consider to include when creating your video. So you've got the video introduction and ending. So you want to be able to create that introduction that is that one thing that's going to bring people in. So if we look at, for instance, if we go back and we look at this video at the very beginning, you'll see the introduction. You won't hear it, but you'll see it. Oops, it's just not letting me start it over here. So there it is. That's the introduction for them, and it has music that goes with it. And then it just jumps right into the question, right? So that's what we mean. What's that introduction going to be for you? And here we had, a really quick, there it is, and it just comes in like that, and that's the introduction. So we did that until I started talking. So that was an introduction, but that's what I'm talking about by introduction. So you want to make sure you have an introduction and an ending that will then kind of it'll just fade out and go, and the music will pick up, and then you'll have that ending for it. So you have a nice end cap around your video. Then you want to think about, well, where do I get that music? Well, there's two places you can get that I know of that I can recommend: royalty-free music, which is not free, and Incompetech, which is royalty-free music. And if I'll just take you out here really quick, but if you come out to Incompetech, you'll see that you can really pick all kinds of music: African blues, classical comedy, whatever, and you can sample it, and then you can download that part that you really like, or the song that you really like, or the music that you like, for whatever it is that you want to do, and they have a lot to pick from out here. So take that, and then you can size it and edit it so you use exactly the little clip of it that you want to use, but that's what you can do, and it's free. And then think about, if you're going to do this a lot, think about having a template where you have the video introduction and ending in your video editing software. You save that out with the music and everything as a template, and then all you have to do is resize where the ending comes in based on the length of your video that you're going to do, and then after you get done editing the middle part of your video for each one, you pretty much have it, and you have to do just a little edits, and you can then do your editing, creating your final videos fairly easily. So that's what I have, editing your video. And we're not going to actually demo. We did do the demo earlier, but we aren't going to demo how Camtasia works. For those of you who are super interested in that, that's a whole different. If you let me know if you are interested, we could create a webinar just to do that piece. But that's a specific thing, and you can learn a lot on your own as well. But let's talk quickly about publishing your video. So YouTube. It's free. Videos, just so you know, videos have to be 10 minutes or shorter in length, unless you're a specific content provider that they've approved, and you can have longer ones. People are going to see them and be able to share them without driving traffic to your pages, your website pages specifically. So YouTube is a whole social media play, actually, and it should be part of your social media strategy, particularly from a video standpoint. But also, you can put an ad overlay into your videos, and this is something that few people know how to do, and I'm going to show you how to do it today. You can put an ad overlay into your videos, so there's a hot link in your videos to your landing page to help drive traffic there directly without having to say, here's the URL, and having them enter that in distinctly on their own. So there's a way to do that, and I'm going to walk you through exactly how to do it, because it's really pretty cool, and I'll show you that being done on a video. Now, publishing your video. Video hosting providers can give you more control on, and viewing statistics. So if you want your videos, you want to have a YouTube account for sure, and there's a lot of reasons for that we're going to get into later when we talk about leveraging your videos and search engine optimization. So YouTube is somewhere that you want to have a presence. But if you want to have control over how your videos display with different player options and things like that, and custom skins, then you want to have a video host, and Vimeo is one of them. We use a company called bitsontheRun.com. They were purchased by Longtail Video, but at any rate, they have JavaScript players, and we can skin those any ways we want. And there is importance about JavaScript players. You want to make sure that you use a JavaScript player, okay? And I'll get into that in a moment. Now, in YouTube, you can embed videos on your pages, so you can literally pull them into your website pages right with your other content, and you do that through the embed link and the iframe. Now, make sure that you click the Show Suggested Videos when the video finishes box. You unclick it. Make sure you unclick that. It'll automatically be clicked, and that's what you don't want, because they'll show videos that aren't yours, and then the person will play the video on your page, be done with it, and then they'll see all these other things they could go watch out on YouTube, which is not what you want. And so if you unclick that, what they do is they show the options like share this video and stuff like that instead, which is a much more preferable option. And then you can pick your size, or you can say your custom size that you need, and then you can grab your iframe, and you can just put that right into the HTML. Okay, so that's your YouTube way. Now from Bits on the Run, where we host a lot of ours, we have a player that we've built that fits exactly on the page, exactly how we want it. So it's not a can size, but it actually fits into our web page design. And so we do that, and then it's basically a JavaScript player, and we can just pull that code and pull that directly into, so it's not an iframe, it's just JavaScript, and pull that directly into our pages. Here's why you want JavaScript players. Stay away from Flash-based players. So many sites have Flash-based players, and the problem is if it's on your home page and somebody comes in from their iPad, guess what? They get this big old blank spot on your page with nothing there at all. And given that iPad has such prominence, as you know, everyone I know pretty much has an iPad at this point. I mean, my mother, when I was home, and she's 84 years old, and I was home recently, she said, I want an iPad. Can I have, put it on my Christmas list, And so here she is asking for one. And so many people have them now. They're browsing. They're looking at sites. They're doing that. And you can have a nice site and it loads, but if you have a Flash-based player, you're going to leave a big hole in your page. So just make sure from an iPad and iPhone perspective, I would just say as a rule, stay away from them. You don't need them. There's HTML5 that's coming along and JavaScript players that are available that play on everything. So why limit to something, like using Flash? It just doesn't make sense. Okay, let's talk now about leveraging your video. So when we talk about leveraging your video, I've got a couple of things that we're going to explore. The first one is YouTube ad overlays. So YouTube ad overlays and using annotations. Now I'm going to cut out here. I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. I think I'm going to be able to show you exactly how to do this. But if we go out to YouTube and sign in, so I'm going to quickly sign in. Okay, so if we quickly sign in here and we go to settings, you want to be able to hook up an AdWords account with your video. So to promote your videos with promoted videos is a good way to get there, but you want to be able to add an AdWords account to it. Now I'm going to just show you really quickly what this looks like because I think it'll make a difference for you if you see it. So this is a fitness site. And this is, and he does video blogging, basically. But if you watch, when this starts up, there it is. That's the ad overlay right there. And if I click this, I go to his site. So I go to ronmorrisfitness.com. So there's an error in that one. There, I go to ronmorrisfitness.com. So I have to go out there and fix that one. Oh, now I forgot the S. So this is not. Okay, so it's going to go directly out to the link. So Ron Morris Fitness, it's literally going to go outside of YouTube, which is amazing. So that's the ad overlay that you want to see. So how we do that and set it up is in Video Manager, or when you go over and you edit your video. Down here, I'll show you. You can have the ad overlay. Now this one is a newer video and it's never been added into an AdWords campaign, so you don't even see the option to do an ad overlay, which is what you guys will see more than likely from yours. But as soon as you enable it to an ad, so if I go into this one and I say Mom made me fat, really? Well, now check it out. I've got this ad overlay right here, and I can go directly to Ron Morris Fitness, and here you can see the error, and I can correct it. But basically, I can go right to Ron Morris Fitness, and that's going to be my URL, and that's my call to action overlay. So I can do that, and I can save that change. Now let's show you how that got set up. Because if you add an AdWords account to your YouTube account is where you can do this, and you don't have to pay anything. So if you have an AdWords account and you go out to AdWords, it's literally creating a video campaign. So, and then the keywords that you vote on, so the way this works is it's going to always show up in your video, but you only have to pay, for the clicks when it's served or when it's clicked from one of the keywords that you're bidding on, okay? So you can see I'm going to click into the ads, and here's the videos. So we've got all these different videos here, and it's actually not serving, right, from an ads perspective necessarily, but here's the Mom Made Me Fat, right? But if I go and I look at the keywords for this ad, what we're bidding on has nothing to do with fitness or health and well-being. It has to do with something completely other, because we don't have a budget for AdWords in this particular case, but we can drive traffic to the videos, and then we don't have to pay for those clicks, but we can get clicks through to our landing pages exactly how we want them. So what you do is you just add a new ad. So you create a new ad, and you add a new video in, and then once you've done that and you have the ad, you can then go add your video overlay over in YouTube. Okay, so that's how that works. So let's see. So if I go back to YouTube, so then the other thing that we wanted to show you is if you have a sequence of videos, they also have annotations and things like that. So if you have a sequence of videos, and I'll show you this on one that is an older one, 5 Minutes to Break Bad Habits, what you're going to see is here's that overlay that's going to take you right to a site if we click it. Now we're going to speed all the way to the end. Now you'll see that right there you'll see two things that came up, and they're ad overlays. Watch Ron's next video, watch Ron's previous video. And I can click these and it'll take me right to the next and previous videos. So you can see that you can use these annotations to continue. If you have a string of videos or you're doing anything like video blogging, you can start to include these annotations. So how you do this is you can edit your annotations by just annotations. And then you put those annotations in, so you can say edit existing annotation, and there's the previous and next, and when they actually show up. But you can see them if we move this timeline over. You'll see where they come up, and you'll start to see them. They're right here, and those are the previous and next. And you can move them around, and you can lengthen them, and you can put what the words are in them. And if I'm going to edit one, I actually put the YouTube, and you can only have a link that's a YouTube link here, so you can't link off of YouTube, but you can link to other videos on YouTube. So you just put that link right in here that's the video that you want to go to. And so you can edit those, and you can have it even put the title of what it is he's talking about, whatever, but you can have those. Then you can have the sequence. So once someone starts watching one video, they're going to automatically, you can keep them going to the next and the next and the next. So these show up even on Ron's blog. So if we were to go to Ron's blog and just show, you're going to get all of them, and I'll have to take you down into, because I think some of them are more current than others. But if we go down, 5 minutes, here's your habit, and we start watching this one, you're going to see there's the YouTube. So again, it's right there, and this is embedded on a web page. And if I take you to the end of it, you're also going to see the what next and previous. Now that will take them to YouTube, but it'll take them to the next and previous. Okay, so we also want to promote people liking the YouTube channel and things like that. So you want to be able to do that. Okay, so that's what I wanted to show you specifically around ad overlays and annotations. Now the other, oops, I went too fast here. I need to back up. Let's see. Okay, so the other thing is how to get subscribers on YouTube that are going to view your video. And this is something where you want to invite people to view it that might be interested in it. And there's solutions like Tube Toolbox that'll basically allow you to, on key phrases, to go out and see what other sites and how many followers they have. And you can literally send emails out within YouTube to those folks and say, hey, come check out my videos. So you can do that to try and get more subscribers and views on your video and all of that. And tools like this are done for that, because the more that you can get views on your video and subscribers and people to give you a thumbs up, the better your video is going to rank out in YouTube. So that's just one tool that you have so that you can automate some of that without having to do it manually. Now, syndicating your videos is a whole other subject. So you can take a video and you can syndicate them out using something like tubemogul.com, and you can create accounts at some other free sites. So these are also ones that allow you to put videos out there for free, and you can have your videos that are out on YouTube also automatically propagated out to these other video sites, so that can also help you get awareness and spread the word on your videos. So use something like a TubeMogul to get those out there every time. We load ours up to YouTube ourselves, and then we'll load them up to TubeMogul and let them syndicate them out to these other sites. But YouTube we manage ourselves. So that's about syndicating your video. And I want to talk to you a little bit about, video there's a lot of ways that you can use and reuse and repurpose your content. So the webinar today we're recording, that'll become a video. I can do a presentation and have that become a video. I can then take just the audio part out and have just an audio clip. Well, that could go to a podcast. Or I can go and get a transcription of that, which can then be used as text. And one more, I'll show you another view, but right here, this is exactly that. This is the transcript of what's going to be said in this video, and we go and get those done with the audio, and then we put it right underneath it so that we have all the text from that video blog right there. So it's a blog post and a video blog. So you can see that, and that's all from just getting that transcription. You can get them at a site called castingwords.com. You can get them in 24-hour turnaround for $2.50 a minute. So if you have a short 3-minute deal, it's talking $7.50 to get that transcript and have it available. You can make that a blog post like I just showed you, so a video, and you can also have video blog posts. So you can now use your content in lots of different ways and repurpose it. So now you've got double bang for the buck, triple bang for the buck. But for all of us that are always working on how do we come up with content, leveraging the content you have is also a very good idea. Okay, and with that, I've already shown you examples. We also have a direct mail campaign that we did where we sent postcards out, brought people in on a code that they'd enter into a personalized video that was for them. So we've also experimented on that front. I won't go into that today. Now, video SEO, I do want to touch on. Video SEO, there's 3 main factors that impact video showing up in universal search results. Google gives huge preference to YouTube videos, but so does Bing. So 84% of the videos that are shown on Google search results, 84% come from YouTube. Bing splits the preference between YouTube and Bing, so 38% to YouTube and 37% to the Bing Professional Content Network, or you have to be an MSN Professional Content Partner to post videos to Bing. To do that, you have to, to be that content, it's like CNN. So you and I, we're not going to be able to get to be a MSN Professional Content Partner. So that means your next best step is YouTube and get it ranked on YouTube, right? So YouTube is important if you want to have your videos rank in universal search engine result pages. And you want to think about the keywords. You want to stay away from transactional keywords like buy, cheap, free, or sale. Those perform really poorly where universal search is concerned. You want to think about focusing on informational keywords like how to, learn, what is something something, or the history of something something. So those are educational or instructional or comparative, this versus that, right? So you want to think and focus on those key phrases. And navigational keywords and phrases show with mixed results. So those are phrases that typically include the website address or the brand names or brand descriptions. So you want to focus on informational keywords. Those trump transactional and navigational keyword focus as you're thinking about how to get those videos ranked and how to really pull that off. Here's a real quick checklist. Upload the video to a prominent platform, and I continue to be a fan of cross-posting on multiple platforms to maximize the potential, audience size, and overall reach. Do everything in your power to rank that video well on that platform's own search results like YouTube. So work to get it ranked on YouTube. Avoid the transactional key phrases. And then, in the end, make great videos. It still seems like good advice, right? With universal SERP real estate being so valuable, I doubt that Google or Bing are going to let it become infected with poor quality videos. So with that, I'm going to open it up for questions and start to take questions. I know that we're running a little long. We've got only a couple minutes for questions, but I will stay as long as there are questions. So the first question I have here, is video a stronger tool for either B2B or B2C, or are the merits shared equally? I would say the merits are shared equally. I don't see anything in the results that I've looked at and the studies that I've looked at that suggests that B2B or B2C, that it skews differently in either one. I think that human beings love to watch video, and so I think it's just a much more engaging medium. Okay, next question. Do you have any suggestions for video blogging, content frequency, length? I would say no more than 3 minutes. And those were the ones that I was showing you out there. That shortness of, that was a 3-minute videos is what we had recommended for Ron to do at Ron Morris Fitness. And that's what he's doing. And those seem to be getting good appeal and good length. He's playing around with how often he posts. He may only post once a week. He may post twice a week. He may post fewer or more. But mostly with blogging, you want to make sure that you blog frequently so people know and you develop a rhythm and they know when they can come back out. You can also have emails that go out on your RSS feed, and based on that, that tell people, you know, people can subscribe to those emails that, hey, I've got some new things. So do you want them to get 1 new thing, or do you want to get them 2 or 3 new things? How often do you want them to go out? So that's another way that you can leverage it. But I would say no more than 3 minutes for that, and that's it, because otherwise they're too long. Instructional videos and things like that, ours run about 25 minutes, but the numbers of times people are watching that to the end is less, but that's an instructional video, so you got to be interested in that subject. Okay, next question. I didn't really understand how you set up the overlay. You have to add the video to your AdWords account? Yes, you do. You have to add the video to your AdWords account. So if you're, let me see, if we're out in YouTube and I go to settings, you literally have to add an ad over in YouTube. You have to add the video in that ad. So you add a new video ad over there, and as soon as you add that ad and put the verbiage in that you want for that ad, and the link where it should go, you know, and all that, then you can do it. So you literally say new video campaign, and then you add the video in. So if I was going to look at this, it's these videos and only these videos right here that I've already done this for, that I have the ability to add an overlay ad. So when I say a new video ad, I go and add that video in, then I can go and do it. So if I was to say, okay, I want to create a new ad, then I'm going to select my video. And I've got to basically go and select, you know, well, which one am I going to select from? So I can pick from any numbers of them that I want to add from. So, and then I just go ahead and pull it in. And so you just go and click on it and select it and create that new ad. Okay? Hopefully that helped. Let's see. Let's see. How about live streaming? I think live streaming is an interesting option, and we thought about doing that for this webinar, and quite frankly, the webinar providers don't even allow you to do live streaming. There is one that does allow it, and that's NetBriefing in their Proclaim product. It's unclear to me what the pricing is on that, but they would do it and show me talking right along with the video or the PowerPoint presentation. But what you have to realize is that where are people going to be watching you from, and is the bandwidth going to serve? Is it going to hold up? Is it going to be big enough and wide enough for them to actually enjoy watching that video live? So you want to make sure that you're able to do that well. So for instance, we have a customer that has clients over in Africa, and he wants to do some live streaming video training. And I said, well, you know, we can set up that kind of a solution for you, but are they going to be able to watch it? Is their bandwidth going to allow them to see that video? And that was that ended up being the big question, right? So I think that you can explore live streaming. We have not done it. So that's my feedback on live streaming at this moment. So there may be others that know a lot more about live streaming than I do. Okay, and is there any other questions? Because we are right now at an hour and 1 minute point. So if there are no more questions, I'm going to sign off and thank all of you very, very much. If you want to find anything more about Janu, you can follow us on Twitter. You can also follow me on Twitter. You can email me. You can come out to our site at www.genoo.com. Check that out. We also have another webinar that will be happening in April that's about how to leverage social media for campaigns, so how to do that easily for campaigns. It'll look at how you can really think about implementing social media strategies in a good way that will actually produce some good results for you. So that's going to be in April, so stay tuned for that. And thank you very, very much. I appreciate your listening.